lot of planners don't want to take any risks. We just do the standard thing and we kind of move forward. You want to be the one that's memorable. You want to be the one that stands out. And I think the best way to do that is to be intentional, break some of the rules or change some of the norms. Often that means making them slightly uncomfortable, asking them to do things that they don't normally want to do. I guess a simple example is...
So tell me a little bit about what role you think intentional design plays into events, meetings, and trade shows.
Yeah, I think I'd probably start off by saying I'm really against same as last year kind of mentality. That idea that
We've
you
always
just...
done it this way.
Yeah, exactly. I hate it when that kind of comes up. And I understand that there's a limit. You can't change absolutely everything all the time because it's much easier or much faster to kind of pick up something that you did before and kind of do it again, and especially when teams are kind of used to a format. But there is a lot of copycat. There's a lot of sort of standardization in events. The standard conference has a keynote with a really packed room, like dark, and there's some slides, and there's pretty average kind of coffee break, and there's the kind of normal hotel buffet setup, whatever it is. There's a lot of stuff that sort of is standardized. And I think a lot of people understand that and understand how to navigate that and kind of have some expectations around that. And then, of course, there's that sort of one-time nature of events. And so I think a lot of planners don't want to take any risks. So it works. People are expecting it. We just do the standard thing and we kind of move forward. I'm sure you see the same thing with exhibits and booths, right? It's like, hey, it works. We put a light up, we put some signage, we have some music playing, we have something, and then people come to the booth and speak to us. And I think we all know that I think delighting and surprising people and sort of, but doing that in an intentional way makes a difference. That kind of cuts above the rest. And I think, especially when you're on an exhibit floor or when you're one of many conferences that a group of people attend, you want to be the one that's memorable. You want to be the one that stands out. And I think the best way to do that is to be intentional, is to break some of the rules or change some of the norms and take people somewhere that they like. Often that means making them slightly uncomfortable, asking them to do things that they don't normally want to do. I guess a simple example is when you ask people to talk to other people at an event, at a session. I used to do keynote sessions and kind of from the stage ask people to speak to their neighbor. It can be overused and it can be really awkward, but when it's done right, I think that's when you get a lot of insight that you don't normally get at these kind of events. And so, I love running events where the focus is on conversations between peers, where there's just a really, the focus is all about exchange. And I like bringing new ideas from the stage and sort of throwing in new concepts or throwing in kind of ideas, but then giving people the time to talk to each other, to kind of pick each other's brains and also understand what the other people got from a certain session. Sometimes it's as simple as that, and that can lead to really fascinating conversations that, look, you're not going to get as much content per minute as you would if there was just somebody on stage blasting out content. But I know for a fact that I've been to probably hundreds, if not thousands of events at this point, and it's not about how much content you consume. It's about the experiences that stand out. I've been to hundreds of keynote sessions and only very few of them are memorable to me. And I actually think there's a lot more other sessions that are more memorable that might be conversations in the lobby, an experience, something that smelt or looked in a certain way, or that's something that made me feel in a certain way, and those are more memorable. And going back to sort of being intentional, when you're working with brands and the brand wants to attract a certain type of person or have a certain impact on people to curate that brand awareness, I think it all comes down to intentionality and breaking rules and designing the way that you think you want to make people feel, and kind of almost ignoring what a standard event or a standard exhibit booth kind of looks like to break from the norm.
What's funny, as you were talking there, I was taking notes and just kind of gathering my thoughts. And two different times I wrote something as you were speaking, and then you said exactly what I wrote. One time I wrote memorable experiences, right? And the second time I wrote was peer-to-peer discussion. And I think you really hit the nail on the head in a couple different things. One is this idea of being different, trying something different, right? Now, that's not being different just for the sake of being different. I think your point is being intentional. I think intentional means understanding your customer, understanding your audience. I think you are trying to be different, understand the audience, and create memorable experiences for them, right? So it boils down to who is the audience, Why are they there? I think most people are there to learn. They are there to engage, and they are there to get problems of theirs solved. Everybody has a problem when they walk into an event. They have something, whether they're looking for a certification, that's a problem. They need a certification, right? They have something that they're struggling with inside of their job, their role. And to your point, the peer-to-peer discussions at events, I think, are excellent. And everything I've seen over the last few years, and even prior that, is that those, when curated properly, are the best.